There's 5'5" versus 6'7" in the goal bout.
A little bit of a size mismatch there of epic proportions for sure, but Pominville shaking his head and played his junior hockey in the Quebec League for the Shawinigan Cataracts. But this is a nice little give and go between him and Hodgson. Nice shot. He gets a lot on this, and Bishop comes across with a butterfly slide, but there is an example of that athleticism, throwing the leg in the glove out to make the save.
You got a little Barry White and Lou Rawls going here tonight.
I heard Demi Moore from my buddy David Amber said that.
In the call against the Senators.
I visited with Bishop this morning in the locker room, and I really like the fact that he said he wanted to change his approach this year and try to be great in 9 out of 10 games. That's his mindset, and that's what served him so well in the American League. And you see the preparation that he's putting in, trying to work on that flexibility because he's such a big guy. He wants to stay limber. But he was absolutely dominant in the AHL All-Star Game MVP as well down in Peoria.
Big trade a day before the deadline from St. Louis for a second against
McCulloch gets tied up right here. He impedes that motion of the Sabres player. It looked like to Pominville to me from that angle, and I like this right here though. Two young guys, Jared Cowan and the goalie Ben Bishop, talking things over, making sure they're on the same sheet of music. The communication certainly goes a long way, especially in your defensive zone.
Brian Murray was telling us this morning that he's still getting to know the Senators. Didn't know any of them really in that tap out of play over the glass.
Willie Lano's been struggling, trying to find his groove here. He was so good for the Philadelphia Flyers, especially remember watching him in the Stanley Cup final against the Chicago Blackhawks. Puck protection, made plays, zero panic. And some Sabre fans certainly in attendance here at Scotiabank Place. Mark, I know we have some viewers in Southern Ontario that are Sabre fans, and some of the Sabre fans in Western New York tuning into Hockey Night in Canada, so it's a great night for this matchup.
A few dishes in Northern New York.
Exactly.
Tuning in tonight.
Absolutely.
But Billy Lano with that 6-year, 25 big Ben Bishop.
No secret that the Sabres have struggled to score goals, especially on the road, and two guys that were figured into this offensive plan for the Sabres have not been able to muster up that offensive output. Brad Boyce, who was so good in junior in the OHL, he's terrific hands, scored some big goals, and St. Louis hasn't been able to find his offensive touch. And Billy Lano, who we mentioned just prior to that, both these guys are certainly capable of scoring at least 25 to 30 goals respectively. And the Sabres would be in a much different position had those guys reach that.
Basket of Ryan Miller.
The Sens move the puck around so well. They have a lot of different looks that they'll throw at you. And Ryan Miller, the former Michigan State Spartan, who set an NCAA record with a .950 save percentage when he was there. Ever so calm. He gets his position right here. He's on time, nice and tidy. He makes that save in the breadbasket. And Gilroy kind of shakes his head there.
Gilroy, the offensive-oriented defense. Ryan Miller. Well, don't miss the new series, The Big Decision, with Arlene Dickinson and Jim Treliving, followed by an all-new Mr. D and Little Mosque on the Prairie, starting Monday at 8 on CBC.
That was great puck movement by the Senators on that last offensive possession. Terrific close support. They generate a really good opportunity, but Ryan Miller with the glove save was equal to the task.
Spencer versus Roy with 15.6 seconds to go, and again Royce misses the net as the horn sounds to end the opening period, with Buffalo out shooting Ottawa 12-7, but it's Eric Condra's second shorthanded goal of the season, leading Ottawa now with 4 shorthanded points. 1-0 Ottawa. Stay with us. Don Cherry still in the coach's corner with Ron McLean on Hockey Night in Canada. The Sens with a 1-0 lead after 1 here in Canada.
Wow, the Sens turning up the offensive pressure. But Jason Spezza added a different element to his game. He's being more honest on the defensive side of the puck. He's tracking back, he's working hard, puts himself in a position by coming low to gain an offensive opportunity. That doesn't come if he's playing, let's say, cheating on the defensive side, and then a big hit by Tyler Myers on Kyle Turris, which led to this great offensive opportunity in which Pominville ends up just breaking a stick here. That's the Ottawa counter. That speed and the ability to turn the puck the other way and make a play. Nice little entry into the zone once again. The behind the back pass. A great fake as well. This is a terrific move, but how about the heads-up play there with a back pass and forehand backhand, but Ryan Miller wasn't having any of this. Is a shot from the overhead. That's just a great save by Ryan Miller. Awesome second effort.
Well, offensively, Ottawa really dictating the terms here in the second period, out shooting Buffalo 8-3 now. The shots are 15-15 to this point. with 12:55 to go here in the second. A second great chance for this line in a matter of 30 seconds.
And it all comes off, once again, the face-off scenario deep in the offensive zone, and this is where the Sabres miss Paul Gaustad. He was their face-off go-to guy. They don't have him in the lineup, and the Sens able to generate a great opportunity, but Ryan Miller comes out, takes away the angle. Aggressive goaltending by Ryan Miller.
Klinkhammer was on the penalty kill unit the other night against the Rangers, got his first point and assist in that game as well. Popped out and out of play, but Zach Smith has moved to center on that second line, replacing Kyle Turris, and that's been a good combination.
It sure has, and Zach Smith has a little bit more sandpaper and more size, but Philip Kuba's been extremely good this year. He's been quiet. People haven't really recognized how well he's played outside of Ottawa. Plus 21 rating, and his relationship with Brian Murray goes back to their time with the Florida Panthers. So Brian Murray certainly knows a thing or two about Philip Kuba. He's played very well. Been paired with Erik Karlsson for the better part of the season, and they have terrific chemistry.
That's been one of the big stories for this Ottawa Hockey Club, the way their defenders have turned about a disastrous season last year where Chris Phillips had the worst plus-minus in the National Hockey League.
A lot of it comes from the buy-in. A lot of guys are buying into playing a 200-foot game instead of just going north and making plays in the offensive end. You look at the top teams in the league.
The shot from Cowan is held on by Ryan Miller. It happened on Hockey Night, presented by McDonald's. Vote for your favorite moments online and relive them every Saturday night. 2:09 to go here in the second period. Ottawa now out-shooting Buffalo 27-22 and 2-1 on the scoreboard. Spezza gets into the circle with Tyler Ennis. Ennis winning with 1:26 to go here in the second period.
Elan McCulloch has been a guy that a lot of people aren't really talking about this season, and at one point in time he was leading the National Hockey League in goals scored this season. He got disrupted his season, did a little bit by a head injury, but he's sitting on 32 goals right now for this Ottawa Senators team. He's got tremendous speed, and we're going to take a look at the comparison with Danny Heatley, especially this season. You know, Danny Heatley certainly left Ottawa with a lot of hard feelings, but have to feel the effects of that.
Well, he's injured. He's
hurt. Certainly feel the effects of that. But I'll tell you, you're on the road, you get that goal. Certainly gives you a different frame of mind going into that second intermission.
Tyler Ennis with his 8th goal of the season from Leopold and Leno with 18 seconds to go here in the second period. They moved him back to center on the second line tonight, and he pays dividends here with a goal to tie it into his locker room. He ties it up. Karlsson a momentary 1-goal lead, and Nathan Gerbe with his first goal in 17 games. And we're all tied at 2 after 40 minutes. Stay with us. The hot stove still to come on Hockey Night in Canada. The Sabres chasing a playoff spot are all tied up. The near side, and a big save by Ben Bishop as we go back downstairs, and here's Cassidy.
Thanks, Mark. And I spoke to Dave Cameron, assistant coach of the Ottawa Senators, and he told me the reason Zach Smith was on the second unit in the second period was due to the fact that Kyle Turris took a stick in the mouth and had to leave for repairs. He also said the message to the team was the points are so crucial right now, so they want them to set the compete level in the third. Mark?
And Zach Smith didn't miss a beat moving up to that second-line center spot.
No, he's a big, strong player. He skates very well, and he brings some sandpaper to go with that skill set, so he fit in quite nicely.
Colic after the play.
Jason Spezza took a little bit too much time. He had Karlsson in full flight, and Spezza, a very cerebral player with great hockey sense, but just delays a little bit too long before he turns this puck back up the ice. Nice counter here by the Sens, and there's Karlsson, and the Sens are usually so much in sync when they come through that zone, but Spezza took too long to get Karlsson the puck.
And Karlsson has his 17th goal of the season. That's 2 shy of the franchise record for goals by a defenseman here in Ottawa, held by Steve Duchesne. 19 back in 96-97. Ben Bishop, he'll hold on for a face-off in the Senator zone.
Sometimes you're a little excited, and understandably so as a young player coming into the league. You're full of that testosterone, and Cowan just tries to jump up in this one, and it's a misread there, trying to be aggressive, but Ben Bishop with a tremendous blocker arm save.
Tyler Ennis and Jim O'Brien in the circle. Ennis gets the draw, leads on, but Cody Hodgson looking dangerous on that play.
You know what, folks? Bill Leno has been a little bit inconsistent, to say the least, this season. His work ethic always hasn't been where it needed to be. But on this last offensive chance, he was like a dog on a bone, working to force that turnover.
The shot right into the goal mouth.
You know what's interesting in watching Chris Phillips? He looks more mobile than I've seen him in the last 3 years. Tonight, he's made a lot of good plays. He's jumping into holes. Probably because he's healthy, he's got a little bit more speed to his game. This is the third offensive play I've seen him make tonight. It's a great offensive chance that he just generated there himself.
Playing with that big shield because he broke his nose for the first time in his career, apparently, in that Tampa Bay game in that collision with Adam Hall. That looked like his 1000th game where he had a